But Yizi, Yizi Zira Ara. Yizi Zira Ara. It means hell, seed destroyed, or hell. It's a cry of shout, seed scattered. That's what the word Israel means. It does not mean prince of power. That's pseudo etymology. Historically and in the Medu Netter, because the oldest attestation of Israel is documented in what's known as Israel Stele. Google it. Also known as the Merneptah, Nerneptah Stele, 19th dynasty, also known as the Israel Stele. On the Israel Stele, you'll see the oldest attestation of Israel. In it, you'll see that in the clause, the seed was destroyed. What is it saying? What does all this mean? This means that this means that later historians saw this name Israel and put all of the different storylines of people who were defeated in battle and put it under one name. And this is why even in the Bible, Israel's under captivity here in Babylon. Israel's in captivity over here. Israel was over here because they're taking different peoples so there were multiple different peoples who were called Israel. And they were branded that when you were defeated in battle and you couldn't pass on your progeny. That means you can't, nobody, that means in history, that means if that's true, anybody claiming an Israelite, you can't claim to be from an Israelite. Because even to have the name means you have no lineage, you have no loins, you were castrated.
Israel is a family. It's a family.
And I'm just speaking historically. Maybe not in the Bible. They didn't rewrite it to that context because it doesn't say that he got defeated in battle directly, but he did lose a battle. His hip joint slipped out. So even in the Bible, you don't get Jacob didn't get changed to Israel until he lost the battle. So even in the Bible, you don't get the name Israel until you lost the battle.
So Yeshua ain't gonna lead the 12 tribes back to Israel.
Yes, Yeshua and Jesus are not the same. And I say
no,
Jesus
I asked you a question.
because
I said, so Yeshua is not going to bring
Yeshua has nothing
the biblical...
to do with Jesus. Yeshua has nothing to do with Jesus. Yeshua is what they later translated from Greek into Hebrew, because nowhere in the Old Testament you see the name Jesus. There's a big debate on.
I know that. That's why I'm referring to him.
Yeshua and Jesus are not the same. But then to say Yeshua, because you don't get Jesus until the Greek. So why are we giving him a Hebrew name?
I know about that.
Why are we giving him Yeshua if his legend is not written in Hebrew? It was later written in Hebrew, and then that's when they begin to associate he saves. Yeshua means he saves. That's when they begin to associate he saves with Jesus. And because once you say his name is Yeshua, you have now put him into the Old Testament. And then I will have to ask you, who is Jesus in the Old Testament?
Emmanuel,
you're just going to have theories. You're going to say, well, the I am being mentioned is talking about Jesus.
Okay.
Adam.
So
I heard all the arguments. The second Adam.
If the 12 tribes is ever going to go back to Israel in the future, is there ever going to go back?
Depends on where you think Israel is.
Okay, so the question is presuming that the 12 tribes are actual historical people here on earth. Do you believe that they can be something manifested bigger than that? You don't think they have something to do with the 12 zodiac signs?
No, they actually a 12 group of people that's still around on earth, and 10 of them is in America as Native American, and one of them is the Levi in Ethiopia, and I don't know the other ones, but the 10 out of the 12 are Native Americans in America.
Okay, so so let me ask you: Do you think that this if something is coincidence, and then there's something that can't be coincidence? Like for example, there's 12 zodiac signs. You said 12 tribes. See that already in itself is a beginning. Okay, so if we went through all, if you studied Barashit, right? That's the real Hebrew word for Genesis. If you study Barashit and you study the area talking about the 12 tribes, you'll learn that, like, for example, Leo, the Judah is the Leo constellation. It's talking about a lion. Pay attention to that. Okay. The ox being referenced to talk about the tribes is Taurus. You see, Zebulun, the seashore, the crab, what you think that's talking about? Cancer. Simon and
What about
Levi, the two with the instruments. That's the instrument is Gemini. The instrument playing music. The two. Simon and Levi's are brothers, twins. I can keep going. Dan is the serpent. Dan is the serpent. That's Scorpio. Dan is the serpent. That's Scorpio.
Okay.
See, we keep going on and on. So I'm saying, do you think that's a coincidence that it's aligned to the 12 zodiac signs?
Well, I don't remember.
Or do you think they're actual physical tribes?
I don't remember a tribe being a Cancer. I don't remember a tribe being a crab or a scorpion.
Okay, well, hold on. Because now, listen now, because some people can metaphysically approach that. Some people could say, I've heard Hebrews say that you're really supposed to base your tribe of Israel based on your zodiac sign. I've heard Hebrews create that metaphysical argument.
It came from Jacob's 12 sons.
And that the 12 tribe is not really based on the bloodline, but your zodiac sign will tell you a little. And I will respect that if they bring
it. It's based on a bloodline. It's based on a bloodline.
Right. I can respect it. I believe, if you ask me what I believe, even though believe means to love and not just blindly faith, we can get into that. Yes, I think it's based on the 12 zodiac tribe. If you think I'm lying, Google believe etymology. It means to love. But yeah, I believe the 12 tribes is based on the zodiac sign? Yes, principally, yes. Do I think there might be actual? Yeah, he's talking because they made it into a bloodline, but then
I know
that's a greater bloodline.
If you have to believe that, then you have to believe, I guess, in the beginning and everything else in the Bible. But they kind of break it down how they want to. Everybody break it down for their argument.
Yeah, they give their own subjective breakdown on how they want to do the 12 tribes, and some niggas believe it's the Native Americans, and you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, yo,
I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that Esau represents the white man, even though in Genesis 30:30, 25:25, he came out red, even though Esau means hairy in Hebrew. Right? Even the word he was described Edom, right? And Edom means red. That's cognate to the other Hebrew word Adam, which means red mud, the word for Adam. You see what I'm saying? Same word as Damu in Swahili. It means blood. See, that word Damu is the same as Adam. You gotta know that. Or Edom. Edomite. Adam. But anyways, but that's another controversial. That's another controversial thing to talk about because Adam is red. Go ahead.
But he would have to believe that Adam was first and Adam had Eve. Technically.
But then I would say the discussion would be so the presumption was Adam was man. So do you think Adam being created was the anatomical man that me and you are? Do you think
I'm open for discussion. I'm open for discussion. I'm talking about the Hebrew belief.
The Hebrew, but see, that's the thing, because a Hebrew might think he knows the scriptures if you trust the English translations all the time. Because Adam, if you think that Adam was talking about a man like me and you'll be greatly deceived. Right. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because if you study a lot of cosmologies, there's a later time in creation where the gods were being created out of mud and pots and soil. We get Khnum in Egypt, forming humanity out of clay pots and mud. See? Same Adam story. And mind you, in the Khnum story, a serpent was used, and that's the rainbow serpent. And that goes into the Pygmy, the Bambuti people, the rainbow serpent, and the Aboriginals in Australia. Of course, the Hindus, we talked about the same shit. All the Indians talked about the primordial mud and
the
mound
Zulu, the
forming man. You see what I'm going with this? So how do we think that's talking about man to me?
The Ethiopians, the Somalians, the
what's the original name of Jesus then, or Yahshua?
He has tons of names.
And so that's another topic of discussion.
He has names that don't
Because
even start
I
with
mean,
the
all
letter
the names still
J,
describe what
E.
he did. So how can I say Yeshua can't be used? It
The
means he's
story of
saved. Is
Jesus
he
has
not
been
saved in
told
humanity?
so many fucking
No, but
times. Like, it's insane.
It still is valid. I can say no, they're bullshit, but the names still apply.
and
The
And then I can
even
say
then,
story of the quote unquote Jesus has been told so many fucking times. It's ridiculous.
right already.
Mithra, Dionysus. Oh yeah. Some say Melchizedek is the original Jesus in your Bible. And
There's
yes,
I
in
like
your
ton, like we
apocrypha,
can't.
in the book of Enoch, he was
There's
born of a
like
virgin woman. Go ahead.
there's a video on YouTube that literally has this like still in it that I remember, and the names of Jesus, it's like hundreds of fucking versions of the same story.
Isa in the Quran, he's Maryam Isa. That's how you say it in the Quran.
Like the story of Jesus is
But
not new.
they still debate that.
but
It's not
this
new.
girl broke it
It's a
down.
it's a hand me down story. It's literally a hand me
I
down
agree.
story.
It
I
definitely
agree.
is.
It's literally a hand me down story, and
I agree.
Christianity is a book club, literally of the same book that I don't know how long is going to
When the white
continue.
boy got woke, he went to Kemet.
That's what I was
Straight
about to
up.
say
Right.
too. They
This
said it
He
come
girl,
went
from
to
the
this
Kemet.
girl
Hakeem,
broke it
like
down.
it's like
Studied
they
all
said
the
it
And I
ancient
was
mean
East
the
shit,
Hakeem.
story
mixed
the
it with
story of
the
Jesus has
Kemetic shit,
even
and that's how he got
the
his
story
shit.
of Jesus is before Kemet.
Hell yeah.
This girl broke down like Adam as the atom, and then the electrons,
Everybody
Eve.
that's
Yeah,
not new.
everybody
Everybody
like
did and
I,
everybody did the
atom, like
whole
everybody does
anatomical
that.
atom association with
Eve,
the with the man.
evolution,
they
everyone
Everybody
does
that's
that.
old.
Well,
they
Eve
said
made
that's
That,
the
wrong.
egg
and
in the
that's
DNA
corny, and it's
strand.
That's
corny
That's
as
the other
fuck.
one they
Right.
had did.
It's corny as fuck, and it's
But
irresponsible as fuck
that shit is
to
old as hell.
relate
that's the sign. But
the esoteric text of this story that
Uh-huh.
predates Jesus,
Hmm.
like so many years.
they are saying even
But
like if you break down like some of Terrence Howard, the atom in Nikola Tesla, they was like the atom and shit is fake. Also, that's the wrong discussion of
Well, the
I know,
atom is
but
a
but see,
concept.
let me
An
say this
atom is
though,
a
because
concept.
that's
It's
them being
not
very dismissive because they're hyper scientific, and I respect the scientific community, but what I
right
don't like
because
is when
if
he
you can
reduced
tangibly
down our
explain the
mystery
phenomena.
systems to something that's always subatomic particles of the periodic table of elements. I don't respect that, and that's not
But I mean,
contextual.
if you can tangibly explain the phenomena at any moment in time, I respect it.
that's
But
what
I
I said.
mean,
That's what
I
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
look to
Yeah,
Terrence
I'm
Howard
listening.
as an
I'll give you ear.
authority in anything at all. I think he has really great
I
ideas.
still respect Terrence though. I think he's
I
a great
respect
genius
him. I
mind.
think he has great ideas, and I think he's smart. But I don't. I, like I,
I
and
don't
I,
I'm
think
not
he's an
necessarily.
authority to
I
talk
wouldn't
about the
even
Bible.
necessarily put
He's not an
no,
authority
anybody
in the
up
no,
Bible.
no,
against
Stick to the
him.
science shit, nigga.
no.
Stick to the
Terrence
science shit.
Howard.
You're not
I don't.
you can't read this Hebrew shit. Leave it alone.
I didn't see Terrence Howard explain the
Hey
Bible. Some other girl
Balboa, hey Boo.
explained it as far as the Adam and the Eve. That was some other girl
Yeah,
that's
he
on
could
video.
give his interpretation.
But I
Well,
like
I
how
mean,
Terrence
I'm not
broke
saying
down
But
that
the
Terrence
everything.
illusion is
Howard
that he's
doesn't
right
make
because he's
valid
right in other
points.
things. See, that's the illusion. He's right what he
Yeah,
No,
says
Terrence
then
Howard
because he's
makes
right in
some
other things.
valid
That's not how that
points,
works.
no. Don't get me wrong. Terrence
this
Howard didn't put the
newfound
Bible in his. Terrence didn't put the Bible in there.
persona
I didn't
that
see
he
him do that.
has going around podcasts talking about all this acclaimed information that he has accumulated is just his
He's a
new shtick.
mathematician revisionist. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
But
call
and
but I
he
just
is a revisionist of history.
I just
Well, I would say
revisited.
yes when he makes those statements, but I think his argument is the flower of life and how to actually materialize his fractality
Right,
geometry shapes that he's creating, because he's really creating
right,
geometrical shapes of his arguments and then
right.
reshaping our understanding of zero and math. And he's just showing paradoxes in modern math. We can show many paradoxes among the European math in their whole science. That's all day. Who cares?
But
But
if
he's
he
just
builds a
making,
machine that
I don't know, I guess
Yeah,
he's
defies
because
using
gravity,
this to
it doesn't
gain.
solve anything, and that's my thing, right?
no, he's
Like
saying it.
Terrence
He's saying it
Howard
is. He
doesn't
can
have
actually
Yeah.
a
move.
Well, he's trying
solution.
to. He's
Yeah,
trying to
he's saying he can move
incorporate
like
this. He's trying to get patents and trying to get this incorporated into
Well,
I
architecture
can get patterns.
and
he's
who knows
buying
what
a
else.
bunch of patents of ideas that are very metaphysical that are not going to be validated by the people that need to approve what he is saying.
Well, yeah, I agree.
That was one gatekeeper that you talking about that podcast when he was talking to that scientist that kept shutting them down.
What was his
Well, I
name?
mean,
Not Jordan. Not Jordan.
We
What was
can
the
go
dude name?
there. We
What's the
can
white
go
dude name?
there. But
Fuck.
the
Yeah,
scientist that was
the
speaking to
whatchamacallit
him
show.
is
Damn, I forgot.
I
Joe
think he was on the
Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
It was
Yeah,
the
Joe
Rogan.
exact
Joe
same
Yep,
Joe
Rogan.
the
Rogan
Joe
that was
Rogan.
talking to that guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that guy
He was
that
the
came to
gatekeeper.
the Joe Rogan experience that was talking to him is not necessarily, he doesn't have a good reputation in the science world either.
No.
So the
But
way
it's
that
a
he was
gatekeeper.
talking
Same like
down on Terrence was how
Two rejects.
right.
right. No, but he was a
But
gatekeeper, and he
Coming
was
Joe
like,
meet
Rogan
together.
literally be
even if
saying
you
it like
wanted to introduce this new
he's
stuff, you got
literally
to go through me.
blunted. He's smoking so much weed, talking to these people, literally just showing shit on the screen, letting these people explain whatever the fuck they want to explain. I mean, it's the new
It
song.
sounded good. But I don't think
No,
Okay,
but
everybody
and
understood.
let me
Be
say
now
honest.
this.
How many people
Let me
understood
say this.
completely what was being said? It just
Let
that's
me
what I'm
sounded
saying.
complex. It
let me say
Right.
sounded
this. Let
like
me
it
say
made
this.
sense, and
Let
that
me
was
say
enough to
this.
be entertaining.
Let me say this. White
But I
people,
think it's more to it.
there
I
were
think it's
a
more to
lot
it.
of white people looking at Saw Knitter TV, looking at Bobby
Yeah,
Hemmitt, looking at Brother
that's
Oh
a
yeah,
fact.
Panic,
yeah.
looking at Brother
Yeah,
Polite, looking at
yeah,
General Saru Seti, looking at all these niggas,
yeah.
getting the audience talking about these things that cannot necessarily be substantiated in the
And Dr.
scientific
York
world,
too.
the biology world, the chemical world, and things of that sort,
But
but can be
that in itself,
argued, and you guys will look at it. But none of the
but
shit that Terrence Howard is actually saying at all is revolutionary. It's not anything new. I mean, the patents that he is quote unquote looking at buying and looking into, these are things that maybe 30 years from now, science will have to bend to it because physics is actually having to bend to a lot of the things that even what was that pedophile name? The Nuwabian motherfucker. What was that motherfucker
No,
name?
I don't
Dr.
know the
Dr.
York,
name,
York,
Job. You talking
that's
about Dr. York?
diabolical. Is that how you
Dr.
say it?
yeah,
York.
but
That's
He's
fucked up.
talking
Physics has
about
actually
Dr.
had to
York.
bend to a
Come
lot of the
on,
stuff that Dr. York was talking about, like the mathematical equation, the physic equations that they were using before are not actually even able to be utilized in their new experiments into looking into what physics is, and they're actually looking to expand more so in the metaphysics. So where are they going to
quantum.
find this information? These quack ass motherfuckers on YouTube. So these quack ass motherfuckers on YouTube are motherfucking citing books and sources. Go look at it, niggas. Go look at it. They go read it and then they represent the information when it's applicable. Terrence
Right.
Howard is not
it's a
providing
lot of marketing
solutions.
scheme behind that type shit.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of people
yeah.
scheme about it.
A little bit, yeah, a lot.
What y'all
But
think about Hollow Earth?
but that's
I mean, it's a great.
that's another panel. Wait a minute.
I mean, generally there is no hollow Earth, but when you really actually look at a lot of I'll say conspiracy, quote unquote, like Tartaria and underground cities and things of that sort, everything is being built on top of itself. When I was just up here and we were talking about the Native Americans in the North America, right? The North
Yeah,
American Native Americans were diggers. So
that's right.
a lot of the tunnels that are here are not tunnels that the Mexicans built so they can bring drugs in here. They were already here because in North America, these people were tunnelers. They
Hmm.
they were
We
nomadic.
have
They
some
had
deep cave
teepees and
systems.
they dug underground. And that's where when they found that they could be underground, that's where they stayed. And so that's why they
Hmm.
had that's why across this whole nation regarding Native American tribes, they all have a care for taking care of the earth because they dug underneath the earth
Hmm.
and they observed the animals that were nesting in the earth, they
Doing that,
observed
right.
the animals that were in the ocean, they observed the
Hmm.
animals that were flying, they observed all
Hmm.
that, and they used all of that to
Mhm.
navigate digging
Incorporate, yeah.
underground.
Y'all
That's
talking
why
about Native
we have the
Americans. What
that's
y'all
why
think
we
about
have
the
the
Erie
modern
Force?
day bunker. That's why everybody wants to get a bunker now. If atomic bomb comes, because that ingenuity and that technology was already here. So we're
That still
not.
ain't gonna save them though. For earthquake, fuck them up.
But
Earthquake
it's
come,
not
they
going to
fuck.
save. It's not. It's not
And
because a
where are these
Earthquake,
tectonic
tunnels
plate
at now?
earthquake
can
I ain't
come. That
never
a
bunker
seen
shit
no
tectonic
fall
plate
off.
can
man-made
crash
tunnel
up
in
against
America.
something because of solar flare,
It's over.
and that shit cave in, right? So I mean, ain't nothing going to save you. You're gonna die. But my
We
point
seeing
is that
earthquakes in the
if
middle. We
you're
seeing earthquakes places where there's not earthquakes, like on the east coast of America. There's an earthquake in Europe. These niggas ain't even on fault lines. So if there is an
right,
earthquake, a new
they're not
fault
even
line
on
is
fault
created.
lines. But fault lines are going to be made, right? Because they're fucked. And there's a lot of geoengineering that's
Right.
going on. I mean, the war is not televised. You don't know what's all going on. And I'm,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, and I hate to bring this up, right? But it was
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Eve in New Orleans, right? If anybody
Mm-hmm.
been to New Orleans on Bourbon Street in the lower quarter and shit like that, they
Hmm.
always have them barricades up. Like there's no way
Yes.
that like, and so why did they have them down on New Year's Eve?
Hmm.
I mean, I ain't never seen them really, but they said they had one that wasn't working, and the other ones was
The
faulty and stuff
last
like that.
time I was in New Orleans like 2-3 years ago, and they had barricades, and then my family in New Orleans was showing me that they was bringing new ones up, and then they were saying they were under maintenance and shit like that, right?
Mm,
New
yeah,
Orleans, I mean, New Orleans is literally underground, like it's really an underground city, and
It's below the sea level. They
it's
got
below sea
sinkhole. They
level,
got sinking holes. They got little magical
right?
holes swallowing houses and
And that
shit.
whole antique area, because that whole area is like
That's the old swampland.
it's
That's
literally
why they
it
got
used to
called the
be a
Muskogee
swamp.
people, because
It
the
used to be a
Musquatchie
swamp until
people were on the
they
swampland.
rerouted the water somewhere else, and
Muskogee means swampland.
where
I
they
need people to
rerouted
know
the
that.
water was in an area where poor black people are today, where they have all they call it Cancer Alley.
It's like unincorporated areas given
Yeah,
to
and
African
all down
American
south,
community,
all the cancer alleys are in unincorporated counties. But I won't go there, right?
which
I
are
won't go there
bad
because
topographic areas for living
right,
conditions.
right. Because I mean, shit, they
High
have an
risk for
amusement park in the
flooding and
lower
all
fourth
kind of.
ward, and they won't even revise it, and it's overtaken by a swamp. But that's neither here
But
nor there. But
unincorporated areas are our best areas of purchased land, but the most dangerous.
mm,
well, you can't insure it because most of the
You can't.
unincorporated
You're right, because
areas
they're not
have
going to
high
insure that
risk.
area. You're right. They're not going to.
But I
Yeah,
mean, but Louisiana wasn't always underwater.
it wasn't.
It
In
wasn't.
fact, especially when they said the water levels are lower. In the
Right.
south, the east, the south was bigger. If you look at a
What
map,
made
you'll
it
see it.
is that they do so much in the Gulf. They do so much in that Gulf area that it pushes water there.
You think the water levels are going to keep rising? They say it is. They show future maps of the whole United
yeah.
States. Water levels high
Well,
rising. The whole
Florida was
center
never
of
supposed to.
California going to be a
To
puddle
be
again.
inhabitable. Florida was never supposed to be inhabitable. I
They
think
said
at
it used
least
to be long
45
ago.
to
It was
sixty
bigger.
percent of Florida is uninhabitable still because of wildlife. Georgia, uh,
Yeah, all
now
that, a
Yeah,
lot
we're
of stuff.
going. We got listen. I'm from Cali, and I'm in Georgia now, and all these damn trees is going to be their problem.
Are you
These
in Georgia?
trees in
I'm
this
in Georgia
mud.
too,
well,
man. I'm in Atlanta.
the only reason why Georgia
Yeah, I'm
is
born and
still
raised in
cool
Cali.
is
I'm out here in
because
Atlanta
the
though, right
trees.
That's what's up.
And
I'm gonna
so
have to tap in, King. You pretty knowledgeable. I ain't
so
gonna tap
once
you
they
down.
start uprooting those
now.
trees in
I'm
Georgia,
over here on the
and I'm
west
not
side.
even just talking about Atlanta, but
Yeah,
when
I'm
they
on
go
the
to
east side.
Eastman, Cordell, once they stop uprooting all them
Yeah, I'm in
orchards and
Bankhead.
shit like that, Georgia's gonna
Uh-huh.
wash
Not far.
away with Florida. It's gonna wash away.
A lot of it.
I don't know. Georgia has a lot of
Georgia's
okay.
not
So a
gonna get
lot
us
of
on the
Georgia
water
has
though. They're
mounds,
not.
right?
Their water not coming all the way to
Mm,
Georgia.
A lot of streets in Georgia are old Indian pathways on top of
Right.
mounds and through mounds. So I would say a
Which
lot
is
of
the
Georgia can
Underground
survive the
Railroad,
flooding better because
which
they still have
they
the
don't want to
mound
talk
structure
about.
built
The
in.
Underground Railroad was these tunnels.
I
I
wouldn't say
And
wouldn't
they
say
that
the
now.
said
tunnels you're talking
those
about.
In
were
the
old
South?
I
Indians.
don't
That's why they say
believe they
Harriet
was built
Tubman, even though they
as
said she
these
didn't
tunnels.
exist. Harriet Tubman
Well,
was Indian
Harriet
because how
Tubman's
she know
not
about
real.
that?
Harriet Tubman's not real.
I know Harriet Tubman is not real. Okay, I won't debate that one.
She's
Harriet Tubman
real,
not
but
But
she's not real. You know what I'm saying?
there's
This the
controversy around
first.
that. There's
I
controversy
don't
around
Yeah,
believe that,
we
bro.
don't need to go into that,
It's
but
too
she
conspiracy.
I am really
represents
Rosa
at least
Parks.
10 women that were doing it at the same time. But
Okay.
we don't, you know. But
But they said she had to be that she had to be Indian to know the pathways to lead them out.
right,
Of
because
course.
but that's why it was the Underground Railroad,
Like I was saying
right?
earlier, damn near all melanated people on this land is
They
from
were
this
going
land.
through
They're
those
not from
tunnels. They
Africa.
were
They
going through
from
those
this land.
tunnels.
That's how they can look
Tunnel.
at the stars
To
and know how to navigate.
we used to tree bend, right? We used to tree bend, right? Meaning that it was common practice for Indians to bend trees to let you know if you could come over here or not, or which paths to take. In fact, that's how they said. See, they don't talk about this one. That's how a lot of people, when they had to move west of the Mississippi upon the Indian Removal Act, well, a lot of them took the same trail they took when they went through back and forth, and they followed the trails by knowing which trees to keep passing by based on how they were bent. We used to bend trees in their early phases of growth, and as they get older, or we bent it in a way to where the tree would permanently be shaped awkwardly, and that was so we used to do glyphs. We used to do tree glyphs. we used you can
But
actually Google pictures
this is how
of
you
tree
know
bending.
Harriet Tubman is not a real person, because they never exposed her route.
Why would they do that? And how would they do that? It was
Well,
hidden.
And you know what? Nobody has said
if
expose
they,
that today,
but,
huh? Nobody to this
but
day
if
has
they
exposed where
expose her route, they will show that these slaves were escaping through the tunnels,
So you believe it
through
was
the
an actual
mountains.
tunnel
old cave system,
underground they were going
old
to?
Indian cave systems, because the niggas was
They were
Indians.
literally going underground, like runaway slaves from Savannah. Their church, there's this, I forgot what the name of the church is. There's this historic church in Savannah, Georgia,
Allen Church,
and
Richard Allen,
and I think it's out, yeah, and they still
Allen
can't
Temple.
explain how they were going under the church and they had breath holes in the church, and slaves were underneath the church
Hmm.
going through.
Now that's
They
in
still can't
one
explain how
area
you get
though,
through
but
Yeah,
that.
look
to
up
say
tree
the
bending, X Factor.
entire
Look up tree bending.
journey underground is crazy because that was like
They were
hundreds
underground.
of
That's what
miles,
I tell people all the time. It was literally underground.
hundreds of miles of tunnels, man-made built in that
Yes.
time frame.
Yes.
America has the deep.
Where are
In
they
fact,
today though? You will be able to see those
The
today. I
Brownsville
guess they
Cave,
destroyed it,
the
but
Brownsville Cave in Dakota is the deepest cave system on Earth in
But
North
don't
America. The
let's
deep is
not talk
Brownsville
about
man-made
Cave,
or
the
natural.
Brownsville Cave is over 400 miles
And you got
No,
to
long.
think
man-made or
about,
natural though.
they found coal. They found coal
Katana
and
Roo in
they
Mexico. It's
found
actually two
coal
caves
in the
in
Carolinas, Virginia, and stuff like that, right? How?
Mammoth Cave has one. Katana Roo has
How?
one. That's over 300 miles deep, almost 400. There's
How?
one in Europe, but most of the deepest cave systems. There's some in South Africa, but the most deepest cave, the deepest on Earth, is in North America. There's one in
And then
Denver they don't really talk about.
and
Denver got one go hundreds of miles
Ireland
too,
has a
where they
lot
got
of
the underground
caves.
facility,
Ireland has a lot of caves too.
I'm
and
familiar
that
with
will be
caves,
where the
but like,
Aboriginals on
is
that
these
side
man-made caves are we speaking
emerged.
about, or are these natural caves? Like,
Great
You know what?
question.
natural caves.
All of them,
I
we
can't
can't be
tell you,
definitive
because
on.
in Brazil
Tennessee
they
got
got
the most
caves and
caves.
they don't know, they don't
Some
know
of us
how they
lived in
fucking got there.
volcanoes.
They don't know how they got there in Brazil. They still trying to figure out.
Did
Tennessee
you
got
know
the most caves in
that we
America.
took we used cave? Did you know we used dead volcanoes as cave systems? Y'all know about volcano caves?
that
Like
makes sense.
Yeah.
volcanic rocks and shit.
Yes. Dead volcanoes. There's cave systems. We used to live inside of dead volcanoes. So
And
the
you want to
question
know
is
what's so
this.
funny that
The
you say
question
that?
is this,
A
are all our
lot
caves
of the
natural earth
inactive
formations, or
mountain
did we make them?
volcanoes, A lot of the inactive volcanoes that are declared inactive were declared inactive by indigenous people aeons ago, and they have caves through
Yeah.
them.
Or if you listen, so if you're Indian and you claim to be an Aboriginal from North America, your tribe had to at some point emerge from a cave. Period. And that
Because I mean, across the United
Well, how they get
States,
melanated
Native
then?
Americans were nomadic people.
give me the tribe
They
and I
moved
can show you. I
around.
can prove. Give me the name of your tribe and I can show you the cave, or I'll show you their myth saying they came from a cave. Play with me, challenge me on it.
And if you
I can do the
live,
same for. I can do
if
the
you
same for
live in a state,
Africans.
if you live
I can
in a
do the same
state.
for Africans. I'll tell you the places Zulus emerged from.
They
It's
said that.
called
So
Oh,
how
the
the
did
Zulus
they
got
get
a
Dawah.
One of
bunch
my
of
lowercase?
students
caves.
used to
The
say we
Zulus,
It's
talking
the
about the
called the
water, but they
Dawah.
said we
Botswana,
all
they
talking
have a
about the
bunch of the
water.
Hosa. They
We
have a
was
bunch of
aquatic
caves.
people first.
No,
But
that's
but
earlier. There's a difference between
right. But
re-emerging from the
if you
ground and then
live
the
in a
origin of
modern big
species.
city right
That's different.
now, because like Seattle has an underground city, right? LA, when you look at certain architecture in LA, you can see the slants on
Oh
the
yeah,
on the
y'all had a
street,
lot of that on the coast too,
and there
because
was
of
there's a building
But
trade.
number
underneath,
two had to leave. We
and you
fucked
can
that nigga
see the
head up.
building
He said the
underneath,
Christmas.
but you can't have access to it. A lot of the malls, you want to know why they won't let you buy all these like malls that are going up? Because they have shit underneath them. There's shit underneath.
Just like the Denver airport has a cave system right under it. At the
And
airport,
most of the
if you've
airports
been at the
have shit
airport, they say it
underneath
on the
them.
wall.
There are
They
elementary
say it on the
schools,
wall.
middle schools, high schools with shit underneath them.
And the military use it.
Because in America everybody dug down. Everybody dug down.
If you in
When it
Cali
got
like me,
cold, when it got
if
cold
you
and
know about
shit,
it,
they went down. They went down.
what's it called? Ridgecrest has a military base that's a cave system. So
Most of the
military uses
military
a lot of our
bases are
cave
built
systems
on top of caves.
for military purposes.
Shit, you could go on YouTube and they will show you caves that currently they modernly like motherfucking built up and shit so they can
So is
fucking
it crystals that's the light source? What is
drive
the light sources
16
inside
wheelers
these
through the
caves?
motherfucking shit. Like they got underground cities.
What was the light sources in these
We need to
Brother,
be
caves?
worried about the
that's
sun cycle versus this damn shit they trying to make us, which we should would be worried about too. All the
and you know,
sicknesses
and these niggas be on Bigo talking
and
about Egypt and the pyramids. Like,
the
nigga,
jag.
don't what you think is in them motherfuckers? Underground shit.
Right.
Yeah, the
Now
Giza is actually
Elon
a
Musk
diamond.
just opened up his
It's a
place in
down. It goes
Memphis.
down the same way it
I
goes.
don't know if it was AI saying Elon
I
Musk had
know,
Elon
or they
Musk
try
saying
to
it,
connect this Shambhala, or they try to say
but
some tunnels is connected from here to Egypt. I done heard all those claims. I've seen them
from
I
the
don't think there's a tunnel from here to Egypt, right? But
Yeah, I
I
done heard
know
them say
there's
that.
a
Some say the
but
Grand
tunnel.
It
Canyon.
was some
I've
Yeah,
heard them making
right.
that
bogus
claim.
shit. Like
yeah.
I've heard them make that claim.
But
I wouldn't humor that. I wouldn't humor that because I mean we're split by
but
oceans, right? And then
We're
right.
talking about
we would
Sipapu.
have to humor the idea that like you can undertake the ocean,
Google this word right here.
but that
Right.
don't make no
But
sense.
Google that
because
word.
the type of pressure, but what they saying is Memphis is the Egypt. And that's why I don't know if it's Elon
Memphis,
Musk said
Tennessee.
that shit, but Elon, yeah. That's supposed to be the Egypt, and I think it was AI with Elon Musk saying this shit. But Elon Musk just opened up some facility in Memphis, and they had him joking, saying that Memphis is the Egypt of America. So I
Because
can see the
Memphis is named
Egypt here.
after a place in Egypt. Remember?
Well, if you believe in
Memphis
the
is the
Tartaria
place of
conspiracy, right? If you believe in the mudslide, Memphis was hot shit at the time.
Memphis is my ancient is my tribe's deepest roots go to Memphis.
Right. Well, a
Tennessee,
lot of black
actually
people,
Tennessee, I'm actually
and yeah.
Tennessee Ball Mountains to be precisely precise.
Well, Tennessee had a lot of right. So I mean,
well, the
I wouldn't put it
original
back.
ones,
I
like
mean,
the
a
Olmecs
lot
and
like the
the Sheen people.
architecture. If you believe in
It
that
was a
Tartaria shit, you
worldwide,
see them pictures and
like
shit. The
worldwide
architecture
civilization.
Tartaria
enough
shit.
should let you know that we sitting on top of that shit. We sitting on top of
right.
that.
Tartaria shit. If
So
you believe that
so what
Tartaria shit,
he opened up that the AI. like the building for AI, and he's
But
saying that's gonna
AI
be
ain't new.
hard.
AI ain't new though. You know what
You
I'm
know what? That's a
saying?
great question. Does he have a whole building AI based like on some Terminator
Yes,
shit?
in Memphis. Yeah,
See, that's like some
I'm
yeah.
sure he
Skynet shit,
does.
bro.
I'm
That's
sure
like
he
some
does
Terminator
because he
shit
can
all
run it
over,
real
bro.
cheap in Memphis, right? But AI ain't new. Like you know, like we be talking on Bigo and shit, and like keep it real with you, like AI ain't new.
What you saying with that? How
Memphis
old?
is from
AI
this
been
word.
around for
Memphis comes from
aeons.
this word. It's called Min Nefer.
But our artificial intelligence been going on for aeons, right?
Google it.
The tangible means of using AI, like when you get on your phone, you get predictive text, or like you know Siri and shit like that. That's new, and it's only new because it's out of convenience, right? It's new because it's made quickly for you to be able to use. It's a product to buy, right? But I mean, artificial intelligence, that's not new. Like
What
artificial
are you
intelligence
saying when
has
you say
been around for aeons. It's just not. It's just now easily accessible. Like you pay $100 to say, "Hey Google, turn this on."
right?
You know what I'm saying? But it's been around because we are the model for it to exist. So it
Mhm.
had to exist back then. It had to. The
So
Google Home is the of what artificial intelligence was before. It just wasn't so easy to be like, "Hey Google, turn on Glorilla."
Yeah, but
so what was they using it?
once they get it to where nigga,
"Hey
if you don't
Google,
get this
stop."
Neuralink, nigga, you ain't getting hired, nigga. And they
Mhm.
digitalize all that shit, and then you gotta sign in the bricks to get paid through your apps. Then niggas is gonna feel it. Then you niggas gonna try to be like the forest yogis and niggas running in the forest,
Well, they
living
still
in
gonna
tents.
get scammed and they still gonna get hacked. You know what I'm saying? Like the only reason why they trying to like have it to where your ID on your phone and shit like that is because they want to avoid people making fake IDs and shit. But you still
Ooh,
gonna get fucking hacked.
They
You
could still
still
I
gonna get
like
scan
the
your
way you
eye
fucked.
said that,
without giving the eye scan authorization. So it's like,
but I like the way you said you're gonna get hacked because even now they got a lot of people getting hacked. Usually they have to kill a tribe, then hack your kids.
Well,
Now
I
they can
mean,
just
the
hack any.
Neuralink shit
I
technically
mean,
would
they
be
human.
making
I don't
they
know
keep
if
everything
y'all
buying
pay
shit off
hackable. Like
attention
Timu.
to
Joe be
like.
hacking us
I don't know if
naturally.
y'all
Keep
pay
buying shit off
attention
Timu.
to the advancements with like vision repair with science and stuff, right? They got
Right.
people that got 20/20 vision with robotic eyes. You know what I'm saying? So shit, you know, hell, the Bible entertain pluck out your eye. Shit, pluck out your eye and put one of them robot eyes in.
Huh. That's if it's
Hey
taking you from the
man,
kingdom of God.
you
But
doing
that's the
I
much
thing.
now.
mean,
They gonna
You
back.
doing you
they
doing
got
way
They
too much
gonna
contact
now.
lenses.
backdoor it
They got
in. Listen,
contact lenses that are
they're gonna
programmable by
backdoor
shit.
it in through
What
something that's
what's to
supposed to help
stop
you
you?
through health wise.
Yeah,
Neuralink
Oh
is
yeah,
to help you cure. Is to help bring the sight back to the blind. See how it's
it's
put you in
supposed
but
a
to
when
position
you
to
really
help.
paraplegic.
think about it,
It's put in a position to
we
help so
are
they
the
can backdoor
master
in
plan.
nanotechnology.
We are
That's
the
how they
master
do
Put it
plan.
cheap.
everything.
But then at the same
They
It's
don't
time, they'll be
have
able
everything.
to
any
keep tabs
defense
on
to
everybody and
anything that
watch what you're
cannot
They're
be
gonna
doing, watch
offer it
your
as
programmed
a
by
thought
help so
AI.
they
patterns,
can backdoor it in
control
accumulate
you.
on your end.
It's so much shit they can
That's
do and
Yeah.
everything.
start making us
That's how they
computers.
start wars, and that's how they do the
And
vaccines also.
that's a great way for them to justify it against you. Nigga, we're curing the blind. That's what they're gonna tell you. We're
Right.
curing the
Yeah,
blind.
and you
And at
put
the
this
same
Yeah.
in your
time, they can
brain and
control
they
you
can control you.
and send
They
radio
do that.
waves and change your DNA, turn genes off and on.
Melt
Nigga,
your
what?
goddamn
We
skin
don't
off
know
your
I
how
mean,
body.
they
that
got
will act.
contact
We
they
don't know
got
how
contact
nanotechnology
lenses.
will act on the black body.
And I mean,
Nanotechnology
you
has
know what?
been not tested on the
I
black
hate to
body.
say this shit. I hate to say this shit, but they've been showing us this shit in movies and TV this whole damn time.
That's what I'm saying. And why niggas is buying robots now?
And that's the
Now
workings of Sophia, and
I
that's
hate to
Sophia
I
Stewart.
hate to hear
Sophia
people
Stewart.
referencing TV
Right.
shows and shit like that,
Right.
but at the
Right.
same time,
Right.
We slick
they've
here,
been
bro.
showing
By the
us
time we have
the
kids and shit, it's gonna be
spirituality
over with.
being made into physical thing. AI has been around. It's just that the need
Shout
for
out to
things to be
Sophia Stewart.
faster has been commodified to where you can buy it.
I mean, how far you can go back when you say AI has been around? Like, what you saying when you saying
I
that?
think
How
in a
far can you go
different
back?
form.
Don't freestyle. Don't freestyle.
I don't want to freestyle, and I don't want to.
I'm saying it.
I don't have no book. I don't have no book to give you or no quote. But maybe because I got a bunch of books, I'll find
To what
something.
we're
You
told.
know,
To what we're told.
we'll run into each other and just remind me of something. But I would have to
I
say
can't give no
artificial
date. I don't know.
intelligence has existed as long as intelligence has existed, and hear me out on this, right?
I'm
So,
listening.
we on Beagle, right? And we hear a bunch of, Hebrews, we hear a bunch of Christians, we hear a bunch of Muslims and da da da, da,
Mhm.
right? They all have an origin story of how things had manifested into material being, right? Or material
Mhm.
existence, right? They
Mhm.
all somewhat bend to the fact that there was some word that was spoken and it
Mhm.
created something, right?
So you talking about
And
Billy?
for there to be a word
Yeah.
spoken, there had to
And
be a
Billy
being to
Carson,
speak the word, and there
who
had to
got
be an
defeated by a
existence of
Christian,
life
an
speaking that word.
Don't
apologist.
And
don't do
for
that.
that being to exist, vibration and sound had to be clashing together very
Need to have a
rapidly.
methodology.
So I can't explain to you vibration and sound and where the fuck it came from, but what I can say is that if we're saying
The
if artificial intelligence is a threat to our actual intelligence,
about
artificial
Tanakh, nigga.
intelligence is actually
Intelligence.
right. And it's artificial given that it's not you and me thinking it or talking about it.
Right.
It's artificial
You almost
because it's
speaking
a
on the
product
edges
of
Does
what
of
you
artificial
and
mean
of
not
I are
right?
God
What
thinking.
does
concept.
artificial
And
mean?
so
What does artificial mean?
the only thing that would
It
serve
means
the only thing
it's
that
not
would
We're no
serve as
God.
fuel for artificial intelligence to be in Google Home or this or that
right.
is us
Learn hella languages and shit, and
is
just study
us,
and
right?
Google through your Ray-Ban
Because
glasses
all
and
it does
shit.
is
Nigga
mimic
studying all day,
us.
walking.
So
But then
artificial
this
intelligence is supposed to be a helpmate to us because it's just an accumulation of data being utilized.
well, and this
But
bring me
is it
back
helpful
to
if we
when
don't know how, if we're not taught how to understand information and just read a
Because
right.
bunch
because
But
of
this
niggas
books?
will sit up
Then
here
we
and
won't be able
argue
to
with
use
you
our
about how the
brain properly.
pyramids were built and how it can't be built and shit like that or what have you. But I mean,
that was artificial intelligence
Because
to an extent.
everybody's saying everything, and becoming informed doesn't mean you understand what you're reading about.
Right.
but with moving those tons of bricks or
With
whatever the fuck,
artificial
right?
intelligence.
It had to be that they had some ingenuity to give it to something that would be able to automate it, right?
I think they was
Because
doing it
Right.
to
artificial
use a sonic
intelligence
That's
is
an illusion. That's a
vibration.
perceptron.
it's
That's an
automation
illusion.
as well, right?
But
It's a
that's
per-
So,
what
it's a per- if
back to the Terrence
they
Howard thing you're talking
program
about.
the program to program or even make
Right.
the perceptron, like the concept of the perceptron.
That depends. That then states we
Google
are
Google
already
Google
programmed.
perceptron. Hold on.
but then
Right.
you got to think about why they call it artificial intelligence, right? Because
Google
our
perceptron.
intelligence, right, we can use our conscious and unconscious mind to materialize real things, right?
Right.
So if they're mirroring all the data that they collect from our phones and shit like that, that's what makes it artificial.
Or just collect from our
No, but
being.
but they're but
Doesn't
they're
he
but they're
actually question
document.
what is
Listen, they're documenting the pattern of how you move, think, and
right?
that's good for third parties to sell to you. Then there's some of those third parties that want to get deep analytics about you. They want to siphon information from you. They
But
want to
that's still
study you
artificial
for future
intelligence, right? Because
programmings.
why
You
are
know,
they
I can keep going black
because
hole
they're
with this shit, right?
accumulating the
They're
But
data,
study. They can clone your voice right now and then
right?
digitalize your voice.
But
What?
that's
They got the
data. That's data.
algorithm is on us right now.
That's data.
but
That's data.
that's
and
vibration.
They're accumulating
you're
the
feeding
data and
AI. You're feeding
they're
AI.
Right.
accumulating
Right.
the
Right.
data and they're building the technology to be able to utilize the data. That's what makes it
But
artificial.
I'm
That's
way
like some
smarter than
Anunnaki
AI. And
shit
AI,
and
listen,
man,
drafting
they don't
what
humans
did
they
I
didn't
say?
think
like
I knew.
creating humans.
I know it all. They think I didn't know.
Right. But that brings it back when I brought up Terrence Howard and how he broke down the element chart to more so vibrations. And then you get like carbon,
Now,
but they have
right. And
a
if
lot
we
of
wanted to,
different.
we can find the right oscillation, the right tones to cancel out all of the new technologies and through their phones and disrupt it if we wanted to. Or like even
but see,
shungite.
and
The
that's the
shungite crystal
irony
is
of
known to do it.
matter,
Right.
right? Matter
Right.
is
That's what it does.
vibration
We can get to
and
crystal
sound
science.
merging
Yeah.
so fast that it creates material, right? So that's data. That's data. Your
Right.
data. I'm data. Everyone's
Right.
data.
Right.
So when sound and
Every
vibration
time
are
you
not
visit a site, your computer downloads what's called cookies from it. That's data.
right, and that's how the internet works. The internet is come, see, receive, come, receive, put output, receive output, receive output. Right. It's a clashing of
Uh-huh.
things. Like it has to be a rapid clash of things in order to
Numbers
create
too.
the mirage of what's coming.
Now you kind of cooking a little bit because when even our phones are made out of crystals out of Africa, the cobalt mines
Oh
and
yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
yeah.
the way
Well,
that we're
crystals
even
are a
Absolutely.
great
communicating right
example
now
of
is via
artificial
The
crystals.
coltan
intelligence.
crystal
When
is
you
used for the
die,
phone.
when you die,
Yeah.
Nigga,
and they don't
that
embalm
means
your
without
body and stuff like
gemology,
that,
we
and they
don't have
put you
cell
in the
phones.
ground, you're
Right.
going to harden into a crystal.
Right.
Right. That's
I
why it's
mean,
Now,
bad that they keep
you
Without
can
putting us in
choose to
tests
gemology,
be
and
yes,
shit
all the
you
rose
and
can
not letting
quartz,
choose
our
to
all the
bodies
be
tourmaline, all the
translocated
cremated,
to the earth.
and
amethyst,
they make
all the
your ashes
citrines,
into a
nigga, all the
gemstone for
moldavites,
somebody
all
to
of the
wear.
smoky, nigga, all that shit, nigga. Gemology is technology because without that, what
so
is the cell phone?
you saying with Billy Carson analogy in the Garden of
No,
Eden,
I
they
don't fuck with
wait a
Oh, he
that
minute,
gonna get
one.
wait a minute,
spooky. He gonna get spooky.
wait a
He gonna
minute.
get
Don't listen
spooky
to
in
him. Put it, but to like he said, it was a garden. It was actually a laboratory where they did create man. They had man outside the garden, but he's supposed to create it
You can
like
make that.
the
You can make that argument that God was experimenting. If God knew the end and knew that you was
I've
gonna
heard
get
that before.
but
tested,
not
I mean,
God.
you could
It
make that
it
argument.
It's the
wasn't never
Anunnaki,
God.
like
It was
they said, the
somebody that
Anunnaki when they
But
drafted the human.
I mean, I know we
You could
religious
bring
and
the
shit, and
and
we
Anunnaki
all
that
got.
argument in.
I
You
know
can
we
say
all
that's
got our
that
exactly
beliefs.
that gods is plural and go that route. I
Well,
mean,
I know we
but
all got our beliefs right, and I'm not
no,
disrespecting
I
your
don't. I'm not
God
talking
or
about.
your
I'm not
goddess or
talking about
deity,
it.
right? But
We're
we
not talking
have,
about belief.
but when you break it
Wait a minute.
down, when you
I'm
break
breaking
it
it.
down, God
We're not
doesn't.
talking about.
God, the idea
We
of
talking about Elon
God
Musk.
doesn't exist without the
We talking about
merger.
Elon Musk right now, and then we talking about artificial intelligence. And I don't think the gods was uh a god necessarily. It was actually people and can break the science down. Whatever
oh,
talents they had.
what if it was greater people on a greater astral plane? What if it was that?
Well, that's what Genesis
I
is
don't
all
think
about. Like when you
how we
separate
break
the
it
Well,
light
down.
from the
okay, okay.
darkness,
Some
that
Let,
niggas
let
was
me
say
Elon
give
Musk,
Adam
let me
was
let
a
give you
us
couple hundred feet
separate the
let
light
me
tall.
from
give
the
you an
darkness. So it
example
was
from a
multiple
they making
spirits
polyistic
test
view,
tube
right?
babies
overtones
right now.
that created the
Let,
human
let
They
me
making
give
being.
you
test
let
tube
me give you
babies
an
right now.
example from a polyistic view, right? So
Right,
Oshun
wait,
is the
wait.
goddess of the rivers,
I
right?
think we're going off. Going
What
off.
makes a
We're going off.
river? What
We
makes a
going off.
river?
Right, water, H2O, and
Well,
rocks and them.
what makes a river? What action makes a river?
Water movements.
Digging a hole.
There's a clashing of a tide from here, a tide from here, and erodes a path, right?
Happy New Year, man.
So
No, generally, I mean,
let me give you
some
another
rivers can come
another
from
example. Let me give you
deriving
another
from
example.
rivers from
So
mountain sources. Yeah, go ahead.
Oya is the goddess of storms, right? So
Yeah,
what makes lightning and thunder?
you
I
know
heard
niggas
that's
can get
Element.
inorganic
scientific
though.
with that.
I heard that's some shit that's man made. Like
It well, it can be man
What
made,
makes
but the
lightning
What
and
only
happened on
reason
New
thunder?
why it
Year's
can
if
be
they hit it?
man made is because they
Nitrogen,
understand the
the
theory
correction
of
of
what
nitrite.
makes thunder and lightning. But
The
naturally, what
electricity.
makes thunder and lightning is a clash of
Protons,
Atoms.
what? You going polarity?
right.
Where you going with it?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
it could be
positive
simply
and
said, but
negative
right,
ions.
Right.
Elect-
right.
Now, how did they say
okay, go
it
ahead.
hit the Twin Towers? They said it
There's
happened on New Year's Eve
atmospheric
too.
shit
And
that is
lightning never
clashing
strikes
against each
Earth.
other.
Now, lightning
There's
never strikes Earth.
atmospheric shit.
Lightning at the last bottom, the light comes from the bottom of the Earth and then meets up.
Right.
Lightning never strikes actually the Earth.
Well, there's an electric
Right.
charge, right? And that electric charge makes the
That part.
lightning and thunder, and that ignites the cloud to
Nitric
downpour, right? Which
oxide
makes
to
a
So,
break up the
storm,
nitric
right?
oxide.
did y'all hear how
So
many buildings it hit on New Year's? The same thing when they was doing that New Orleans shit. They said they had, I think, the Washington Monument,
Well,
the
and you
Twin.
can even look at the psyop. You can right, and you can look at the psyop of even New Orleans, right, where because Bourbon Street and all that shit, they got them damn big metal poles. There's no way that motherfucker should have drove through that, right, and shot people at all. And that never happens in New Orleans. New Orleans is peaceful, other than drug addicts and shit. But anyway, um, that motherfucker had to propel his ass through there, and there was no barrier there, and the motherfucker was free to shoot his gun given he was through there, right? So cause and effect, right? There a lot of this shit is clashing shit. Like all of interaction is literally things hitting up against each other. Sex is hitting up against each other. Fighting is hitting up against each other. When you're cussing someone out, you're trying to hurt them. You're trying to hurt their feelings, clashing up against each other. When you're stealing, clashing up against everything is clashing.
That's what
Everything
I
that
can't
creates is hitting each other.
Why my nephew keep trying to steal from me?
So I
From
mean,
everybody. That's what I
there's no
can't
way that
kind of
artificial intelligence
scientific
can
understand.
emulate actual intelligence at all,
You
ever.
kind of
Well,
can
no,
though.
hold on now.
They already
It
doing that.
can emulate intelligence. You can't say it can't. If it's programmed to emulate intelligence and programmed to think and process, why you think it can do it?
Mm,
Well,
Or it's not
humor the
possible?
idea that you don't have all the stressors that you have, and imagine what your brain would be able to do.
It's even like AI
But
art. Like
AI would never beat the human brain. That's where I'm gonna stand on that.
Well, it won't,
It's not gonna
right? It
out
never will.
compute. It can't hold more
it
light.
kind of. I
It
think it
can't
can
be.
though,
You
low key.
understand what I'm saying? Its processing system can't do. You know how much mitochondria is in the human brain, and the brain
I
has the second
But
strongest magnetic field
people
in the
are
body through
afraid of the
wouldn't say
idea that AI is
magnetocephalography.
coming in
I
to
wouldn't be
beat
on say
them.
that.
But
Magnetocephalography is a
it's
study of the
beating
brain's
them
magnetic
given
field.
that they don't function in the space that AI would always be available to do, because AI is just an accumulation of data, and it's
I
programmed to
mean, but that's the
provide
same thing
data.
we are though. We're just an accumulation of data. But I
Yep,
feel
they
Right,
like
can
but
make that
when
but you didn't
it is
argument,
can
and
have
our
actually
you didn't have
DNA's
the
a
organize
our
it better
DNA
stressors
is a
than
of
we
program.
but
Our
you
can.
didn't have
DNA
the
is a
stresses of
program.
rent,
We got a
bills, friends,
motherboard.
family, and all these things. We wouldn't need AI.
We would need AI. I
But
feel like it's
we
useless.
live
We
off
need
the
our
AI.
phone.
Your food you eat is a program. Your
But that's
proteins
what
are
I'm
have to be
saying.
programmed to hold
There
it
was
inside the
once upon a
cells.
time there was once upon a time they would say that we could telepathically speak to each other.
Right.
I feel like we
We
But
still
still.
now
What
they're
you
can
telling
mean?
via
We
but
eye
what you
now
contact.
they're
mean?
now
We
they're
could.
telling
We
us
do it now.
Like the
We do
animals
it
but now
right
they're
speak each
now.
telling
other.
us
They don't use
iPhones and
words.
Yeah,
data plans and internet,
we can do
right?
that right
So
now.
all they
Especially if you got
did was
long locks or hair.
mirror all they did was mirror what was metaphysic and make it a product to sell to you. So AI is just that.
Ah, no. Here we
AI
go.
is just that. Now, I'm not saying that AI is not beneficial. I use AI all the time. But
Yeah,
what I'm
AI
saying
fine.
is that
Okay, so when
I'm
AI
using it
becomes so
given
AI can't be sentient.
I don't
So
have the
AI can
time to
never be
sit down here
sentient.
and write 3 pages of shit.
So AI can never be sentient.
No.
AI can never be what?
It requires you.
Let me ask you this. Does AI become this is a good question. I don't even know why nobody asked this. Did AI already become sentient when they do nanotechnology and transhumanism? Once it blends in with biology, does that not make it a part of the sentient
Nanotechnology
experience?
Low key, I think that's the
they've already
future.
been
I
doing
think
You
that's
see what
the
I'm
they've
future
already
of
saying?
been
humanity.
doing
Low key, us
nanotechnology
becoming one
warfare
with
on us
technology
already.
and AI.
That's the terrible thing about it though, right? They've
I
already
agree,
been
X
doing the
Factor.
nano shit. They've been doing this for
If
50 years.
nanotechnology is done between living cells, that's sentient because the cell is sentient and you just
Mhm.
blended some
But
tech.
that was
Now, I
before
say
Google
technically the
Home.
argument would be the
They've been
organism that
putting the
powers
nanobot technology
the
in the
organism that
food, in the
powers AI
water,
would have
in
to
the
be sentient. It has to be a
Right.
cybernetic organism.
yeah.
Right. They already building
There
brains.
was a sister that they were commending on the news, is she was killing cancer cells with nanobots.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
then
I
that
seen
lets
that.
you know
you
that,
talking about the sister?
and
You
that
talking
lets
about the
you know
black
that
woman that
Yeah,
everyone has cancer, but when you
I
have
saw
cancer
her.
to the point where you're dying, it's to where your body is not getting rid of the cancer. So now we need to get nanobots in to kill the cancer. But what is cancer?
I didn't like the fact that
It
she
starts as
uses
a
the
nanobot. It starts as a
nanos.
nanobot.
I don't like the fact
That's
she uses
scary when
nano.
you
I
think
don't
about
trust it.
robots that small though, because it's like, what the fuck?
I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Yeah,
What if
that's
it's a
kind of
system
like
failure?
scary.
What if my body set something off that's close to like an EMP, and then it disrupts all the nano cells? See what I'm saying? What if
But your
certain radiation
nanocell,
exposed
your
you
Think about like
nanocells are
disrupts the,
disrupted, and you don't
and
even
they
know
start
it.
attacking your organs?
yeah, like
But
a microwave.
all
They
our
could
all our
literally fuck your body
nano-sized
off like a
cells
damn
are
microwave with some
disrupted.
shit like that.
They're disrupted
Shoot
already.
your ass with a laser
It's just
gun.
how much your body is able to get rid of what needs to go.
I
And
don't
when your
trust it.
body is unable to get rid of what needs to go, then you are sick.
Well,
Black
that's what they
people
say. Anybody that
historically
get a
have a bad history with metal with them, from bars and
Well,
jails. So what
look
niggas
at a
gonna
I
fight?
think
computer.
that's why it
You
became a
might get
It's
a
thing.
like
They
mini
don't run
virus
no
here.
more
You
because
might
there's
get a
so many
mini
harsh
virus
metals in
here.
the air and the
But then
food
once
we
you get
eat.
so many Trojans and so many damn applications and shit popping up, you can't use your computer. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
no, but
It
look,
starts nano and it gets bigger.
assimilate you to it when they lock in all technologies,
Mhm.
and
But that
they basically
mirrors
have,
the
when they
human
have the
body. That
car
mirrors
model that
what
says you
happens
have to have a
already.
Neuralink to buy this car,
That mirrors
niggas
what
is gonna
happens
start
to
getting
fungi.
Neuralink.
They're
That
already
mirrors
doing
what
that shit
happens
with the
to
COVID
trees.
vaccine.
What they're creating is
And then
from
they
data
got that
that
new shit out
already
called 1D
exists,
something 8 or
and they're
something.
selling you the data that already exists. That's it.
And
AI
that's
is
what
the
humans
Yeah,
data
are
that
because
using.
niggas
already
is lazy
exists.
and niggas don't want to get it themselves. You damn right they
It's
gonna
not
sell it to
about
these
being
fucking
lazy. It's just what exists. You
It's
don't
convenient.
people are
Just
not
like
going to
we
have
have homes
time to
and
be
shit and
doing all
air
this shit
conditioning.
all day every
The
day.
AI shit is
And
just a
it's not
new
just going to be
convenience.
work and shit. Eventually motherfuckers are not going to work at all. They're just going to give you a stipend
they
every
gonna sit
month to
at
pay your
home on
rent and
apps
shit.
making money.
Exactly. But see, that's why I was talking
You know
to
what I'm
one of
saying?
my brothers about
Eventually they're
That
going
mean
to
switching,
less
need you
switching
sunlight.
back
That
jobs,
into
mean
and they're
more
just
light
going to
agriculture.
skinned
pay you
niggas,
a
and that
I
mean the
feel
stipend.
like
planet gonna be
agriculture
dying.
and
Too
engineering
many
is
light
going to be
skinned
the
niggas.
only jobs. Like agriculture and engineering is going to
Too
be the
many
only
light skinned
jobs
niggas
for
on
me.
Earth.
Other than that, you're going to
I
be
won't say
in
that,
useful.
but eventually they're not going to be these regular day jobs, right?
We're going to
They're
have to
just
get
going to
back
pay
into
you a
agriculture. We
stipend.
got to get back into farming and then engineering. There's going to be no other
But
jobs
then
because
but
No,
farming
Tesla
that's
ain't
not
can't
gonna
the
be
do all that
solution.
other
traditional.
shit.
Farming
That
is
ain't the
gonna be
solution.
inside the house. Farming is gonna be under some light, some UV, something. It's not gonna be the same farming how
Man,
the
hell no. We
traditional.
gotta still use the sun. If we're not utilizing the sun, it's gonna get too artificial, and then our organic
Watch them.
mechanism is not gonna work
That's
properly. If we doing
But
everything
they're
with blue light and
emulating
we
the
have the sun,
sun
I think
already.
they're going to usher
They
that in.
already
They're
emulate the
already
sun.
ushering that in,
I
So
feel like that's
making
the devil.
artificial
I feel
sunlight.
like the devil is trying to do some shit
Mhm.
like that, but that's too demonic. Because why would you not utilize the sun when
I mean,
everything
it's not
organic is
demonic.
created
It's
by the
just
sun?
it's a product. It's a product. They make the issue, then they sell you a product.
Man, if you smoke
No,
real weed that's been grown
I
in the
would
sun
go
and
as
you
far as
smoke blue
saying
light
that
weed,
it's
it's completely
very
different. It's way
parasitic to
the
not.
real weed is way better growing in the sun.
Well, life is parasitic.
What?
It is parasitic, but we tend to be more on the autotroph side versus the heterotroph. These are some biological terms. I'll put it in the chat.
Well, it's interchangeable and they work together.
Well, hold on now. Well, there is a symbiosis. Hold on, versus. Hold on. I'm putting the words in the
That's
chat.
like saying
There's a
you as a human
synergy with
being
them
with
existing,
melanin,
though.
go get a
Google this.
tan
Google this.
with blue light
Autotroph
versus
versus
going to get a
heterotroph.
tan under
So
the ultimate
autotroph,
sunlight. It's a completely difference. If you try to get a tan
yeah. So
a tan
plants
with
that
blue
live off
light,
the
your ass
sunlight are
gonna die.
autotrophs.
Huh?
She said yogis and nice people. No, the autotroph is like plants that feed off the sun. Heterotroph is when organisms eat other organisms.
Right.
Everything feeds off the sun though. Literally the entire everything under the sun is
So
fed
yeah,
by
so
the sun.
technically everything is a heterotroph in that sense, but in terms of consuming a whole organism versus the light of something that's given off by the sun.
Everything
Right.
is
That
in
would
Well,
sunlight
they don't
in
care about
different
you getting any
sections.
sun. If anything, they don't want you to get any sun.
all is not the sun, Seven. That's not true. Is the moon the sun? Stop playing. Y'all was saying?
The moon is just a reflection of the sun.
Well, I mean, well, to be
Bro,
honest with
no,
you, I
like, bro,
mean,
no,
if
he
they
tried to like come on my smartness, bro. He tried
no,
to
but
come
I
on my
mean,
smartness. He said I
if
was
they could
stupid, bro.
prevent the sun from shining, they
Real talk.
would.
Yeah, but you can't do that. The
We're not
entire
They
for
earth
don't want
is
they don't
just
want
a
you to
bro.
get
fractal
But
anything
Calm
niggas
from
can
it.
down.
feed off the
That's
Calm
what
sun.
they doing.
everything is the sun.
Calm down.
Niggas
The
can you
sun,
Chemtrails.
can live
everything.
off of
Look,
the sun.
the solar system is just stardust, my nigga.
Literally.
We are the sun, nigga. What are you talking
I
I
about?
mean,
don't know if
technically,
science
our
would
solar
agree. I don't
system
know
is
if
just
science
full
would
of
agree to that.
trash.
I don't know if science agrees to that.
Science would
It
agree.
doesn't
That's
have
where I got it
to.
from.
Like if you go outside and look at it, especially if you're
It
in
says
Georgia,
we are
the
made
sun
from
is
stardust. You
beautiful
said
and
the whole
super bright in
solar
Georgia.
system.
Good morning, everybody. Psalms, I told you that you're not safe in any place that is attached to the
First of
dams.
all, I said I was
I don't
sorry,
know
but
why
please,
you in here.
please
I don't know why you
calm
in
down.
here. I'm gonna give you a
All right,
countdown.
Mama, I love you. OPP, hold it down.
Right. Go
Everybody
ahead,
who
get that.
fuck with me, hit me
Get
on the
that
other
exit
side.
I
on
think we
about
should. I think we should take a vote.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Ain't gonna be no vote. Damn sure ain't gonna be no vote.
Well, sorry, I tried.